Hello, and welcome to Claire's World. I am Claire, and I would like to share with you more information I've received from the 25th dimension in my last QHHT session. Today, specifically, this is part 2 of a video series of 3 or 4 videos, probably going to be more like 4 videos. I'm trying to keep them to a certain length because there's so much to discuss and to talk about, but basically it's a video series around my last plant medicine experience, where I not only connected with source, but I also became source. And if this sounds strange to you, no, I'm not lost my mind. I don't believe I am God. And I mean I as in Claire. I am no difference from anybody else. I'm a 3D person. However, we have discovered, and now I have felt it, that we are all one. We are all source. We hear this, but until we experience it the way that I have through this plant medicine experience, it doesn't really make sense, because we do want to believe in the separation. We do want to believe that God is someone outside of us that judges us, or maybe doesn't care about us, or punishes us, or whatever that might be. The truth is we are all source, and we are very much an aspect and a reflection of source in that sense. So if you have not watched my previous video in this series, please watch it, because that's where I describe the experience that these questions are based on. And if you don't watch that, this is going to become very confusing very quickly, because this is kind of next level information that we're receiving. And it's already hard to keep it together as it is like this. I have had to, I've been battling, with wrapping my mind around this now for a few weeks. And I can only imagine that running into this information for the first time can be quite a lot. At any rate, before we move forward, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. And please do give a like to this video, and also leave me a comment below. I really, really want to hear if the stuff resonates with you. I know we have a lot of sludge, I call it sludge, that we have to get through when trying to conceive of these concepts, for the simple reason we've been taught, because we want to believe in the separation. So we've been taught about the separation. We think it's real. And so it's kind of hard, for example, even for me to be like, oh my God, I'm source. It almost feels like, oh, how arrogant can you be? Or how dare you say that? These things are things that it's not even that we've been taught. We have wanted to learn on this planet. We've set up for us to learn on this planet, because this is what allows us to enjoy the current, fabricated reality we're in. And that's okay, except that because we are moving on and we're moving to new earth, and this information is going to become common knowledge there. This is why I'm putting this information out. It is coming now, not by chance. It's because we have to start letting it percolate, because this is going to be obvious to us the second the veil falls, that we are all one. And therefore, of course, we are all source, because source is energy. We are energy, and energy is indivisible. All right, so I'm going to move forward here. I'm going to start. I'm going to start reading from a transcript. Blah, blah, blah. Sometimes my tongue is not doing exactly the thing I wanted to do. And when I say Carolyn, I'm referring to my hypnotist asking me questions I prepared in advance of the session. And when I say me, I'm referring to the 25th responding. And again, we are referring to the experience of the plant medicine. Carolyn, you recently told Claire, when she asked about life in the 3D chambers, they don't have violence anymore. You said, we already explained that violence was due not only to the dark, but also to the fact that there is a basic misunderstanding here, which is that we have to do certain things to maintain the solidity of this planet. But you did not explain this. Me, Source said. So I had mega chills when I transcribed this, and I will tell you why. I don't know if you remember, it was hard for me even to remember the sequence of what happened. I had my first plant medicine experience, and source, God, is who told me that basically the reason we have pain here is because this is how we keep the vibration of the planet within a certain range of vibration, which is what allows the planet to become solid. This was based on a misunderstanding, because low vibrational energy just means slow down, like more like frozen energy. It doesn't have to be low as in negative, okay? But when I had a session after that experience, the 25th referred to, basically referred to something else that we're talking about. And they said, we explained that violence is not only due to the dark, but also to the fact that we have a basic misunderstanding. And as I was transcribing that session, I was like, wait, the 25th didn't tell me that. It freaked me out. I felt like a sleuth. I'm looking for clues here. And the fact that, as Carolyn was asking this question, they interrupted her and they said, source said. So they had said this, but they had said it after source. And I realized they're not the ones that were telling me this. And so I'm just gonna read what they say about this, because again, it was shocking to me when I realized this. So they said, so me, source said, and here's what it is. And if we had said this in the beginning, and many people hearing this will still not understand this, will not grasp it at a knowledge level. They will hear it, they might even conceive of it with their minds, but they will not truly grasp this until they experience it. And they will experience this on your earth. If we had said to you that we are source, you would have not understood, because we believe in separation. So is it, did we lie when we say that we're created from source? Of course not. We have been created a source, but that's what makes us source. There is no separation. And so yes, source explained this, but it's the same thing as us explaining it. Where is this information coming from? It's not a group of us up here. We are all one. This blew my mind. It truly did. Especially when you're living through it. Put yourselves in my shoes for one moment. I'm living through this and I'm like, what is going on? The 25th is telling me this, but really then it was source telling me, but so what's the story over here? So I lived through this, and that's what they mean by, we might hear it and grasp it, think we understand the concept intellectually, but once you experience it, these lessons, these breakthroughs are real to me. That's why I have no doubt about anything, about a lot of these things anymore, because I've actually lived through them. Like, they're real, they're happening right now. And so, and all of us, you guys, most likely, all of you are going to hang out on the earth. So this is why these breakthroughs are happening. And because we are all one, because I have done this work, and not just me, there are many others who are doing this work, this will be absorbed and integrated by the community. And because perhaps one of you has done work in relation to whatever else, another point of reality, I will integrate that just like everybody else. This is how we grow so quickly, and this is why we'll have no limit. We will be 3.5 million people, but it will be one experience. It's almost like you have lived 3.5 million different lifetimes. I mean, it is almost inconceivable. It is craziness. But yeah, we're going to experience all of this. Carolyn, so is this the ultimate truth? We are all one. Me. Absolutely. This is it. We are source. I am source. That's the ultimate truth. There is no we. There is only I. I am source. And everything that I think, I'm seeing, that I'm imagining is me. And when we have this understanding, which we are going to have, everything will change. Nothing we will lay our eyes on anymore will feel separate from us, will be other. And this is why actually we are going to be kind, because at the end of the day, it's us. We would never be unkind to our left leg. This is it. This is the breakthrough. This is the ultimate understanding, the truth. There is only I in this entire reality. This is all happening in the mind of one. Carolyn, amazing. So how then does this really work? Is Clea just speaking to herself, imagining the entire reality? And they were laughing here as she was reading this question, because there is only one her, me. And they were laughing still. Yeah, there's only one. There is only one. Carolyn, so she's pretending that there is separation? Me. We're all talking to ourselves. Yes, we're a bunch of madmen. And they were laughing. Carolyn, she's just entertaining herself, and she was laughing. Me. We are, and that's all it is. That's what we've been talking about from the beginning. This is all for fun. This is all for fun. One, I am bored. The one is bored, and it pretends. It's almost like you put up your two hands and say, okay, guys, I'm gonna mime this out for you because it is unbelievable. I cannot believe that this happened during hypnosis. I'm under hypnosis and I'm seeing myself doing these things. So the one is bored and it pretends. It's almost like you put up your two hands and say, okay, this one, I'm going to pretend this is Joe, and I'm going to pretend this is Jane. And we're gonna pretend we're having a conversation. Okay, hi, Joe. Hi, Jane, how are you doing? And Carolyn was cracking up when they were doing this. This is literally what we're doing. It's one. And because it is bored, it's pretending that its own parts are different people. That's exactly what is happening. So I want to tell you how powerful this imagery was for me, because I understood. We are, so there is no we, there is one, there's I, okay? And I'm not talking about Clea, there's I as in, we're all one, so there's one, okay? Which is source, is what we describe as source, when we think of source. There is one, and one is so powerful, this one is so infinite, that it can set up this game and pretend that maybe it's like an octopus. It has not just two, it has millions, of tentacles, millions of hands, and it can distract itself. It can get into the game of pretending these are all real, just like a child would say their child was pretending, playing, blah, 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 kind of thing, that it can focus its attention on its hands, for example, on these two people, even on one person and the other person at the same time, and all of a sudden, it loses itself, it forgets itself, and these are real. So you put your attention, you put your focus into a reality outside of yourself, which is what we're doing all the time, aren't we? We're putting our focus on outside realities, and all of a sudden you forget yourself, okay? When I had the experience, one of the things that I kept thinking is, I forgot myself. And then I kept thinking, I awoke from my slumber now, when I willed a takedown or witnessed the willing of the takedown by source, okay? And so this is what is happening. So we, as the hands, which are still part of source, we experience this reality as very real. If I am Jane, I am Jane. I can focus on Jane and this is all real until I remember, oh no, I'm really just this entire person. And it sounds a little silly, but it was brilliant how they explained it. It really did make sense to me. And this is what is happening. So if you look at it from our perspective of I am Jane, then Jane is real and everything you see around. Like Joe is real too. But then when you open up your attention and you focus, it's like the example they've given us about watching TV. You're in a movie, you're like suspension of disbelief. You think that's all that's real. But then when we come out of it, you're like, oh, wow, there's a world out here. And that's all we're doing. We are remembering that while this feels very real to us, because we want to feel very real, we are source. I am source. Again, I'm not referring to I, Clea. Clea is nothing. I is in, you are source. You, there's only you. You watching, there is only you. Everything is you. This is what they're trying to teach us. So I'm going to continue reading here. Carolyn, so after all, you're simply giving us words. If words were sufficient to wake people up, everybody would be awake. Me. Yes, so you see, it's all a game. Some of us, sometimes source likes to believe, to keep it moving, to keep it flowing, wants some parts to know that we'll play a little bit different here. I'll pretend to remember some things here, or I'll pretend to forget everything here. It's all this. We keep it buried. It's just different options that we have. And this is wonderful. We do love this game so much. This is what we love. We have created this entire game playground for entertainment. And again, it's almost like saying if Jane and Joe were doing exactly the same thing, this would be boring after a while. So I see my daughter, and if you have children, you know this. I see my daughter. She will have, for example, 2 dolls in her hands, and she'll pretend they're having like a fight, or they're saying things to each other, like, oh, I don't like you anymore. I think I'm gonna go. And this is exactly what we are doing at a cosmic level, if that makes any sense. It is amazing. I love this analogy. Okay, Carolyn. So you say we, you're referring, when you say we, you're referring to the 25th. So she's trying to understand what this we is. Me. It's I, it's I, it's I. Source has created this entire playground. Now, we don't wish to create a confusion here. The way that we think about this matrix is still, we do like the structure. So we still think of as we are separate, because you see, we do experience ourselves as being separate. So when you look at it from a separate perspective, like here, you can say, oh, we have a lot of people here. It's very true. It feels very real in the multiverse. Aliens are real. They're separate from us. So in the 25th, we are separate. When you look at it from that perspective, we are separate. Everything we have said is true. We're in the 25th. We're outside of the matrix that has envisioned everything. That's where we all are. We come into the matrix. We believe we are in the matrix, however you experience it, whether you are on New Earth and you have superpowers, whether you're in 3D and you're worried about losing your job because you might starve. This is all real when we are here. We all believe it. So everything we said is true, but the ultimate truth is that there is only one. So it just depends on where you're looking at it from, right? So have we made this up? And the question is, have we been lying to you? We've not. Have we made this up? And they were laughing here. Yes, we're making everything up. When you break it down, yes, it's all made up. That's what we've been trying to say from the beginning. It's all made up. It's all imagination. We have created everything. Wonder if you guys are feeling as overwhelmed by all of this as I do, but it makes sense. It really does make sense. It does resonate with me. Carolyn. So including the matrix really doesn't, it's made up. Me. Oh, the matrix says, yeah, just imagination. It's made up. Carolyn, so are we only source, and is there nothing else? And even the 21st does not really exist? Me. Depends on how you look at it. The 25th exists. We exist. We have consciousness. We exist, but we exist within the consciousness of source as well. So do we exist as separate? When you look at it from the perspective of what really is, no, we're all one, meaning it is one energy. We are indivisible. We're all indivisible. But because we want to explain these things from a perspective that's more acceptable, more relatable, then yes, of course the 25th exists. The matrix exists. And it does exist within the, we've said this before, all of it is holographic. But we do believe that we are on a planet. When you look at it this way, it's very much real, right? You can knock on the wall. You can hurt yourself if you knock too hard. It's very real in that sense. So does it exist? Yes, it does. What we have said still stands. Everything we have said about how the matrix works, how the 25th works, still absolutely stands. Clea had the next stepped up experience to where she connected to source. And then she realized that there is nothing else outside of her, just only her really. Just like if you connect to Carolyn, you would realize there's only you. It's all you, the entire multiverse. The entire creation is all you. Carolyn. She intends for the veil to fall completely. Is she ready to know now? Me. Yes, and the veil will fall very quickly. We are actually timing the complete fall of the veil that's going to happen on New Earth for one simple reason, that we want her to have the ability to spend time on it. Here in this dimension, she wouldn't have time to integrate. Carolyn, she will not, or she will? Me. She would not, in the sense that this will take time. It will take time to integrate all the information that comes up, and she just doesn't have her daughter, and they were laughing, interrupts her every minute. She just physically wouldn't have the time to focus. And it will take, when we speak of integration, it will mean that you will be on your own focusing. And it might take you weeks, it might take you months, it might take you years. So this is just not a convenient time to do this, just because of the different pulls and pushes that you have on this planet, the things you still have to take care of. On New Earth, you don't have to take care of anything. It will be a split second. Everything will be taken care of, and therefore you will have time. Carolyn, right, she'll be free from the 3D tasks. Me, the daily chores, the daily necessities that require attention. The reason, guys, I left this in, even though it looks like it's referring to me, of course, I asked the question. I said, hey, I'm ready because I've had so many breakthroughs. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. It's because I want to tell you, even while I was doing the plant medicine, I was annoyed. So I told you already before my during my first video, the one message from God, my first plant experience, I didn't eat or drink all day because that was just bothersome. And what happened again, the second time, like clockwork, not only that didn't happen, but I was annoyed out of my mind that I had to go pee a couple of times because it was interrupting what I was doing. And so you can only imagine it would not be possible for us to have all these breakthroughs one after the other and be concentrating on the stuff if we had the normal, even if you were doing nothing, you had all the time in the world, just your body needs maintenance, okay? And so for this reason, I mean, they're explaining this is how it works. So that's why I don't want you guys to be too impatient with these things. That's why I wanted to leave this in here to tell you what's happening. Carolyn, so is this all you could tell her about the veil? Me. Yes, absolutely. It will come down very soon. It will come down. I mean, we're here now, 2 or 3 months at most in our Earth time. And yes, this is for your best. It's for Clea's best. She just wants to have the time to actually sit by herself for weeks, if that's what it takes. So she won't need to eat or anything. And here she just cannot do that. She can't be by herself and meditate. She cannot go up to the top of a mountain and be left alone for years if she wants to. All right, I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching this one. I do hope you're enjoying this. These are some of the biggest breakthroughs I've had in a while, and I really want to share them with you, and I do hope that they resonate. Please do let me know in the comments below. Again, take care, and I'll see you again soon.